They will not value you until they have no choice. That's the truth most people are too afraid to face. In this world, power is never handed to you. It's not a gift. It's seized, fortified, and protected with the cold precision of a king who already knows betrayal is inevitable. Most people never grasp this. They spend their lives begging for approval, chasing scraps of attention, thinking if they are just good enough, people will finally see their worth. But in doing so, they teach the world to treat them like dust beneath its feet. But you, no. You're here because you refuse to be most people. You are here to learn the laws of power that make you untouchable, unforgettable, and irreplaceable. Because here is the first law: control the frame. Every person sees the world through a frame, a lens that tells them who matters, who is powerful, and who is irrelevant. If you don't control that frame, you are trapped inside theirs. That's why the Machiavellian mind never accepts the default reality. It bends perception until others believe not what is real, but what you want them to believe. Control the conversation, and you control the narrative. Control the narrative, and you control them. When you walk into a room, you are not there to react. You are there to decide what matters, to decide the pace, to decide the tone. Influence doesn't come from shouting louder. It comes from bending reality until your way feels like the only way. Remember this: I set the frame. I rule the game. But presence alone is not enough. The second law of power is the power of absence. Silence is not weakness. It is demand made visible. When you are everywhere, you become common. When you are rare, you become priceless. The masses cling to constant presence because they fear being forgotten. But in their desperation, they erase their own value. Power understands the opposite. Scarcity is magnetic. Absence forces their thoughts to orbit you. They begin to wonder, where is he? What is he doing? Who is he with? And that mental unrest becomes your ally. But never confuse absence with neglect. Your withdrawal must be deliberate, timed like a strike. You step back when they see you at your peak, so the last image they hold is one of strength, composure, and control. Your absence should feel like oxygen leaving the room, sudden, undeniable, unforgettable. And the longer they go without it, the more they will crave your return. Comment this now: my absence is my weapon. The third law: strategic unpredictability. Predictability is comfort. Comfort is the death of respect. Once they know exactly what you'll say, how you'll react, or where you'll be, you're no longer a player in the game. You're a piece on their board. Owned. Mystery is leverage. It forces people to account for you before they move. It implants a quiet unease. What will he do next? And that question is the leash. This doesn't mean being chaotic. Chaos without purpose is weakness. True unpredictability is deliberate, calculated. It's breaking your own patterns so no one can map you out. If you always respond instantly, delay. If you always attend, skip. If you always agree, decline. The less they know, the more they imagine. And imagination can make you larger, more formidable, and more feared than reality ever could. The predator who stalks unseen is always more terrifying than the one who roars too loudly. Remember, predictable men get categorized and forgotten. Unpredictable men get studied and feared. Comment this now: my moves are my mystery. But unpredictability means nothing if you can't master the fourth law. Controlled detachment. Attachment is the invisible rope around your neck. The more you cling to people, approval, or titles, the weaker you become. Dependence is blood in the water. Predators smell it. opportunists exploit it. Controlled detachment is not the absence of care. It's the ability to choose connection without being owned by it. It is the quiet truth that you can walk away at any time. The man who can walk away holds infinite leverage over the man who must stay. Detachment is visible. It's in your posture, straight, unhurried, never desperate. It's in your words, calm, concise, never spilling more than needed. It's in your eyes, present, but never pleading. When you master detachment, you shift the balance of power instantly. In negotiation, the desperate man bleeds himself dry. The detached man forces the other side to bend. In relationships, the needy are discarded, but the man who can vanish without losing himself is treated like a priceless artifact. And yes, they will accuse you of being cold. What they mean is, they can't control you, and that unsettles them. Good. Let them be unsettled. Comment this now. I can walk away at any time. The fifth law, command of resources. Charm might open doors, but it cannot keep them open. True power is built on resources, and resources are more than money. They are information, alliances, skills, reputation, favors owed. Most men think wealth is numbers in a bank, but money without influence is nothing. A man with no gold but the right knowledge can destroy an empire overnight. A man with no fortune but loyal allies can bend a man 10 times richer. Power is not a single tree, it is a forest, a network, an ecosystem. You must hunt for value deliberately. Every skill you learn is a blade. Every relationship is an investment. Every piece of information is a lockpick. But here's the law. Never reveal the full scope of what you own. Conceal capacity. Because if they know your wealth, they'll plot against it. If they know your allies, they'll corrupt them. If they know your secrets, they'll use them. You must always keep reserves. So when they think they've cornered you, you reveal the weapon they never saw coming. Resources are not for survival alone. They are for shaping reality itself, funding what rises, withdrawing support from what must fall, moving the world without being seen. Comment this now. I own the tools of power, and all of it. Presence, absence, unpredictability, detachment, resources, rests on the final law, mastery of perception. Because power is not just what you are, it's what they believe you are. Reputation is an army that walks into rooms before you. It whispers your name in conversations you'll never hear. It tilts the scales of every negotiation before it even begins. The weak hope people see them as competent or trustworthy. Hope is for the powerless. Perception must be crafted. Like an architect designs a fortress, you build it brick by brick. Every appearance, every word, every detail feeding into the image you want carved into their minds. Nietzsche once wrote, "Man is something to be surpassed. But to surpass man, you must first surpass the image they think they know of you." To live in such a way that no one can fully map you, yet everyone feels your presence, is to hold the greatest power of all. And so, remember, they will not value you until they have no choice. But once you master these laws, you will no longer beg for recognition, for position, for power. You will become the force that decides who gets to sit at the table and who is left outside the gate. Because in the end, power is not given, power is taken, and when it is yours, guarded coldly, wielded wisely, and fortified daily, it cannot be replaced.